I'll give my. Hi, good evening, everyone. So, welcome to the review session of TNQT, and this is the day three of the review session. So, I'm sorry for the delay, guys, due to certain technical issues that had to be delayed. But please confirm the chat box whether I'm audible or not. Okay, cool. I can get some confirmations. So, yeah. So, thank you for bearing with me, guys. So, let us begin with today's session. So before we begin, I will introduce to the company, and I'll introduce you to the company. So we are Ethnus, we are an edtech company, and we are operating since the 14 years, and we help students realize their dreams. So this is a short introduction about us and an introduction about me. My name is Prashant. I'm a master trainer at Ethnus, and I'm also a full stack JavaScript developer with expertise in Amazon Web Services. So, guys, if you haven't joined our Telegram channel yet, please follow this link and please join our Telegram channel to get regular updates about your placements and the upcoming sessions of TNQT. This link will be in the description box and also will be posted in the comment section. So, all set. Let's go to the next slide. So today it was quite a good day for the TNQT exam takers, and it was better than yesterday. So most of your friends have taken the exams, and they are generous enough to give us some feedback about the exams. So today, as you might already know, we'll be discussing about coding and programming, and logic and other sorts of things. So with respect to the programming, you have to bear in mind that you have to be familiar with the basics. That is the fundamentals of programming, and also the common programming constructs like, say, loops, if statements, switches, and all these things. And one more important thing that you guys have to remember is the ASCII values, say ASCII values of numbers, ASCII values of alphabets, both capital and small, and ASCII values of the common symbols, and all these things has to. You have to be pretty good in these things to ace in the programming section of TNQT. So this is based upon the feedbacks of your fellow batchmates. And so, with that in mind, let us begin with the main some of the questions, some of the warm-up questions. So, the first set of questions will be on the programming logic. These are MCQ-based questions, or you can see the filling the blanks-based questions, which are quite simple when compared to the coding section. So, yeah, here we are. The first question. Uh, Can you guys guess the output of the piece of code? So please be proactive in the comment section so that we can be motivated to deliver can be content in a better way. Okay, I can see some answers. Okay, so guys, a heads up about these things. On seeing this code, you might think that it's invalid or something, but here I've given 4 options. So any other thing that you can think, which is the right answer here? Okay, cool. Yeah, here coming to the answer of this question, guys, the answer would be nothing will be printed. So answer will be A, nothing will be printed. So you have to remember that the names of a variable can contain underscores and dollar symbol. This symbol can be there. So sometimes it is not used often, but do remember that underscores and dollar is valid in a variable name of the common programming languages like Python, Java, C, and all. So cool. Nice response, guys. So let's go to the second question. So here you can see even this is a snippet based question. You are given a snippet. So let's see the options here. So guys, what is the input over here? What will be printed? We have 2 loops, and here we are doing some logic inside the loops, and let me know what will be printed here. So the answer would be, before going to the answer, let us solve it by ourselves. Here you can see these are 2 nested loops. So there is one loop, this is one loop, and this is the another loop which is nested. For a moment you'll think that these are nested. These will actually be of order of n square, where n is nothing but 5 over here. But here the trick is, once the outer loop is executed, in the inner loop there's a break statement. For this, if you see, this inner loop is a dummy. Say for I is equal to 0, we'll enter inside the loop, and for j is equal to 0, we'll enter inside the loop. And let's calculate x. I and j are 0, so x will be -1 for now, and we are doing system.out.print. Do note that there is not print ln, this is print, and we'll break immediately. So the inner loop will not be executed for 5 times. It will be only be executed only for once, because a break is here. So we'll break outside, and then we'll go to the outer loop again. So what we'll do is we will be able to go to the outer loop, and now the xi will be 1 and j will be, as usual, 0 and -1. So 1 minus 1 will be 0. So yeah, this is the answer over here. And in the third iteration, what will happen is this I will be say 2, and this j will be 0, and this will be 1, -1, 0, 1, and afterwards 2, 3, 3 will be printed. So this is the thing. So let's go to the next question. So which of the following results will be best suited for memory leak occurred? So may I have a quick answer for these guys? A, B, C, D. The 4 options are given in front of you. Which is the answer? So our answer would be C. So whenever we talk about the memory leak, So it is the memory leak happens when, say, you allocate a memory, when, say, while using the C pointers or something, when you're allocating some memory, you do not free it. So what happens is the unused memory, it builds up, and your C program will use lots of memory. So that memory will not be accessible by any other program running in the computer. So we call it as a memory leak. So just a heads up on the previous question, guys. I'm sorry, this line shouldn't have been there. So if you guys are getting some doubts regarding this line shouldn't have been there. I apologize. But yeah, here you have to remember about the break statement. You have to remember how the break statement works, and this is fairly straightforward. So this is done. And here, this is an interesting question. Which of the following is a server-based paradigm? So there are four options here: request for information, data validation routine, cloud computing, and total cost of ownership. So I'll give you a hint. You have to choose the odd one out over here. Odd one out. Hey guys, can I get some answers? Okay. Cool. So as most of you guessed right, it is option C, that is cloud computing. So that is what we Ethnus specialize in. So you can check it out in our website. But anyways, you might feel that all these terms like request for information, data validation routine, all those things are invalid. These three things, the option A, B, and D, are business terms. So request for information is a business term, and total cost of ownership, it is not a technical term; it's a business term. Here, cloud computing is the only thing that sounds technical. Even though the option B might sound a bit technical, but cloud computing is technical, and cloud computing is nothing but provisioning of all your resources in the server. So that is a short and sweet definition of cloud computing. So the option C should be right. Cool, guys. So when we declare constant pointer to an integer, we cannot change. So again, this is an MCQ based question. Constant pointer. Remember what a pointer has, and remember what a pointer stands for. So the option would be option D. So in C, when you take the C language, of course, everybody have studied the C language. Whenever we think of pointers, pointers are nothing but it will store the address. It will store the address of variable. Say, if I do int p is equal to 53, p will store 53. But I do int star p is equal to some value, then the p will store the value of the address, the location of the address where the value will reside. So what is constant? So once we use a const keyword, then that means the variable value is not changeable at all, and the variable holds address. So address in the pointer variable is not changeable. So that is that. So we'll move to the next question now. So here is a scenario-based question. So John wants to go to different locations of the city, in which he is. He has listed all of them down. However, he wants to visit one location before visiting the same location. What applications of graphs he can use to determine that location? Here you can see, if we try to decode this question, here DFS and BFS both are used to traverse the graphs. Of course, graph is not a linear data structure, so we need some kind of traversal to traverse the whole graph. So DFS and BFS are out of the question, because here our main focus is on he has to visit one location before visiting some other location. So Dykes and topological sorting is remaining. So which option can we use? The option is topological sorting is the right answer. Why? Because topological sorting is a type of sorting wherein, say, if there is a graph, say, if there are two vertices like this, say, imagine that this is a graph, and if we have to do a topological sorting of this one, then A comes before B, because there is a there is a vertex from A to B, so that is the reason A comes before B. So this is it. So that is the reason. If he has to visit one location before some other location, he has to use topological sorting. Dijkstra's is one more very important algorithm. So it is used as a single source shortest path algorithm. It's used in routers and all those things. That is one thing that you have to be aware of. So yeah, guys. So topological sorting is the right answer. So let's move on to the other question. There are two integer numbers x and y, and the value of x and y is between 0 to 25. User stores the value under a 5-bit number. So how many minimum bit is required to store the result of the below expression? So there is an expression over here, 3 into x minus y, and they're telling that the two integer values can be between 0 and 25, and the user stores the value between which is under a 5-bit number. So if we have to solve this question, we have to first the answer is here. Here are the options, available options. So the result RES, the result of, so this RES, how many bits are required to represent this RES? So this is the question. So to solve this, let's consider x minus y. So what are the different values that x minus y can take? So x can take say 0, that is a minimum value, and y can take say 25, that is a maximum value. It can also be the other way, right? X can take 25 and y can take 0. So here we will get 0 minus 25 is minus 25, and 25 minus 0 would be 25. Into 3 would be 75. So here this expression can take the value between minus 75 and 75 plus 75. Okay. So in the case of a binary system, let me erase all these things. Be 4, and if I add one more 0, it would be 8, 16, 32, and after 32, one more 0, there will be 64. This would be the representation of 64. So there are 7 bits to represent 64. So to represent 75, what we can do is here, if all the bits are 1, so we would be representing 127. Okay, so this should be clear, guys. The formula 2 power x minus 1 would be the formula. So if all the bits are 1, or if all the 7 bits are 1, then you would be representing the number 127. So between 70, so if you want to represent say 75, you have to use 7 bits. So 75 would be, so this would be 64, isn't it? So 75 would be, this bit would be 1, and the 2, and here this would be 75 would be represented like this. So you might assume the answer is 7. Let's see the answer. The answer is actually 8. Why? Because say 75 is represented using 7 bits, isn't it? But what about minus 75? We earlier saw that the range was minus 75 to 75. What about minus 75? So to represent minus 75, you need to have a sign bit. So this sign bit, if it is 1, means the number is negative. If it is 0, it means the number is positive. So you need 7 plus 1 bits. That is 8. 8 would be the answer. So yeah, again, this binary system would be a very important thing for you guys. So do know about these things. Do also know the powers of 2. That would be very handy, like 2 power 1, 2, 2 power 2, 4, 2 power 3, 8, and all those things. Okay, cool. So here we have a Java question. So here we need to operate on big integer and big decimal. So what library do we use in Java? So this is a general knowledge question. You guys, might have studied this in your college. So the answer would be import java.math. So this is the answer. All right, guys. So big integer and big decimal are used to represent the numbers and integers which are way larger than the usual, way larger than the usual regular numbers to carry out large operations and so. Okay. So let's go to the next question. So this is also one type of a common question. So here you have a tree. What will be the pre-order traversal? So here are the options. So in the pre-order traversal, what we do is we firstly the pattern is like this: the root, left subtree, and right subtree. So this would be the pattern, the pre-order traversal. And the in-order traversal will be left, root, and R. In the post-order traversal, it would be L, R, and root. You should be aware of these three things. And here, firstly, let's find out the answer. So firstly, we'll be starting from the root, of course, and then we'll be moving left A. So here will be A, and then we'll be moving down here B, root again, and then again one level down, that is D. And then now here there is nothing. So what we do is we have to move to R, A, B, D, E. So in E we have left edge. So we have nothing towards the right subtree. So at this moment we'll just pause and look at the answer. So the first answer is A, B, C, D or something, and second answer is D, H, E, B. But the third answer we have A, B, D, E, H. So no need to do the entire, no need to solve the entire problem. We have found our answer over here because this is very similar. So we'll choose C as the right answer. So here, let's go to the next question. In a singly circular linked list, how many address fields are there? So singly circular linked list will look something like this. It'll have a value and an address to the next node. So if this is the start. So as the name says, singly circular linked list, it will have only one address. So no need to look at the options also. Answer will be straight away 1. So this is also a kind of a tricky question, guys. So you have to know the subtle differences between size of and string length. So what does size of and string length represent? Return. It returns the this will be the first option, that is A. Size of string including null characters and size of string including next null characters. So obviously this is not true, right? Because if there has to be some difference between size of and string length, so they cannot be same. So this is ruled out, and also even this is ruled out because both functions cannot be same. And the third, let's see, return size of string including null characters, and string length return size of string excluding null characters. So these two are there. So this is, this is actually the right answer. Because size of string length, what does it do is it doesn't count the null characters. As you see, it's a length of a string. So it doesn't have to do anything with the null characters. So it will not count the null characters at all. Whereas size of, say, null in C, it has a size, isn't it? It also has a escape little /o. So size of, indeed, null has a value. So that is the reason, including null characters, size of will be returning. Okay. Any doubts? Please put it in the comment section. I'm sorry, not in the comment section, in the chat box. Let's move to the next question. So we have come to an end of the question, end of the topic in section. Let's go to the next section, that is coding section. You guys might feel that this is the difficult section because a few days ago some of your friends had faced certain problems with the compiler and everything. But yeah, the problem would be solved by TCS. So yeah, we have 3 questions in this section. Let's come to the first question. A washing machine works on the fuzzy system. The weight of the clothes put inside is for washing is uncertain, but based on the weight measured given by the sensors, it decides the time and water level, which can be changed by menus given on the machine control area. So for low water level, the time estimate is 25 minutes, which is approximately weight is between 2000 grams or any non-zero positive number below that. So if you are feeling confused or something, I recommend to read the problem twice or thrice until you become clear about the problem. Like afterwards, one hint is here in the left side there is some examples. Even the TCS you will have one example. So if you look at the example, you will have an idea of what is being solved over here. Okay. So here, this is the meat part of the question. For the low water level, the weight is between 2000 grams and any non-zero positive number. For the medium level water, the time estimate is 35 minutes, where approximately weight is between 2001 gram and 4000 grams. So they are telling medium water level means weight is between 2001 and 4000 grams, and the time estimate is 35 minutes for this. So in that way, you have to correlate. And what does high water level mean? The approximate weight is above 4000 grams, and for that the time estimate is 45 minutes. And here they have also given the maximum, so 7000 grams. And here there are other things also. Approximately weight is 0 and the time estimate is 0 minutes. So we have to write a function. Remember, we have to write only the function, not the whole code, which takes in numeric weight in the range of 0 to 7000. That is the input. Remember, that is the input, and produces the estimate time as output as overloaded, and all the other input statements as invalid input. So if the range, if the input that you give is beyond this range, then you have to give the option as invalid input, or the approximate appropriate other values, say the estimated time. Here you have the input as 2000 and output as 25 minutes. This can confuse you, but please bear with me. So here we want this. So anything that you can think of. So simple if else statement would do, right? If else statements would do. So let's look into the code quickly. So guys, this is the code. As you can see, if here in the main statement we have int machine weight, and we are getting in the machine weight, and we are calling this function calculate time. So in the calculate time, we'll receive an integer n, and if n is equal to 0, that means there is no weight, so the time estimate is 0 minutes. If n is in the range of 0 to 2000, that is what we saw in the question, isn't it? So then you have to print time estimated as 25 minutes. If the range is medium water level, that is 2000 to 4000 the input, and the time estimate so and so. And here also the time estimate, it would be here it's for the high water level. So simple if else statements. Otherwise, if it doesn't fall into this traditional 0 to 7000, then what you have to do is you have to print as invalid input. So that is that. So it's a simple C++ solution actually. It's pretty simple if else statements. So when it comes to programming, there'll be 2 questions. One will be very simple and other one will be medium. So you have to be aware of that. This falls into the simple category. Okay, right. So yeah, so let's go to the other question. So there is a jar full of candies for sale at the mall counter, and jar has the capacity n. That is, the jar can contain maximum n candies when the jar is full. Okay. So there is a jar with a capacity of n. At any point of time, jar can have m number of candies, where m is lesser than n. Obviously, it cannot exceed the weight of the jar, isn't it? Exceed the capacity of the jar, I'm sorry. Candies are served to the customers. Jar never remains empty, as when the last key candies are left. This is kind of confusing, but let's keep it to let's read the other things. jar is refilled when new candies are in such a way that the jar gets full. So jar never should turn empty. At least k candles should be k candy should be there. That is that you have to remember. So write a code to implement the above scenario. You have to write a code to do these things. So here is the question. So there is a new question. There is a jar full of candies for a sale at a mall counter. Jar has the capacity of n. That is, jar can contain maximum n candles and the jar is full. At any point of time, the jar can have m number of candies wherein m is less than n. So n would be the capacity, the total capacity of the jar, and m would be the number of candies. So candies get served to customers. Jar never remains empty when the last k candies are left. So jar never remains empty is one thing that you have to remember. Jar is filled with new candies in such a way that the jar gets full. You have to write a code to implement the above scenario. So display the jar, the counter when with an available number of candies. Input should be the number of candies one customer can order at one point of time. So that is the input, number of candies. Update the jar after each purchase and display the jar at counter. Okay. Output should give the number of candies sold and the updated number of candies in jar. So the input should be the number of candies and the output should be the number of candies sold. If input is more than the candies in jar, return invalid input. This is legit, isn't it? Because it cannot exceed k candies must be present in the jar. It should not be less than k candies. So as I told here, this section is very important. Given and an example. If the input value is 3, so here in the given example, we have n is equal to 10. This is the capacity of the jar. And k is lesser than equal to 5. So minimum 5 candies should be there. That is the condition. So let's give the input value as 3. So input value is the number of candies that one customer orders. Output value would be 10 minus 3. So number of candies sold would be 3. Number of candies available would be 5. Okay. So, okay. Let us move to the code now. So here is the code. Yeah, this is the code, guys. So this is a C++ based solution. So we will use some hard-coded values for this. So let's let n is the capacity of the jar. It will be 10 and k would be 5. So k is nothing but the purchase amount of the candies. So so this k is nothing but the amount of candies that should be there. If there are the capacity is 10, the number of candies should not be going below 5. So we'll take in an input. Input is nothing but the number of candies that a customer places in order. So if the number is less than or equal to 5, that is or the number is greater than or equal to 1, then only we have to get this output. That is number of candies sold and number of candies left. Say if the number is beyond this range. So let us move to the next question. So this question is a bit difficult. This falls to the second category of the questions, that is the medium ones. So selection of MPCS exams include a fitness test which is conducted on ground. So there will be batch of 3 trainees appearing for running test in a track of 3 rounds. You need to record their oxygen level for each and every round. After trainee are finished with all the rounds, calculate for each trainee his average oxygen level over the 3 rounds and select one with the highest oxygen level as the most fit trainee. So if more than one trainee attains the same oxygen level, then they all need to be selected. So here the question says that there are 3 trainees and each trainees will be taking 3 rounds of running, and for each of the 3 rounds there will be oxygen levels. So there'll be for those three trainees, you have to output the trainee who has the highest oxygen. So this is the question. The selection of MPCS exams include a fitness test which is conducted on ground. there'll be a batch of 3 trainees appearing for a running test in a track of 3 rounds. So you will need to record their oxygen level after each round. After a trainee have finished with all the rounds, calculate for each trainee his average oxygen level over the 3 rounds and select one with the highest oxygen level. So here here you can see the note. Here the question says that there are 3 candidates and each will be doing 3 rounds. So after the end of three rounds, you have to record the average oxygen levels of each of the candidates. So you have to output the candidate with the highest oxygen level. So here you can see the oxygen level should be between 1 and 100. And if the calculated maximum oxygen level of the trainees is below 70, then declare the trainees as unfit with the meaningful message as all trainees are unfit. So this is also you have to print it in the input. So output. So this means this. So here you can see this is the input, isn't it? There are 9 values because 3 trainees into 3 rounds. So 3 trainees into 3 rounds. So that is 9 values. So how does these 9 values, how do we have to interpret these 9 rounds? That is by this one. Say here the first 3 values would be oxygen value of trainee 1, oxygen value of trainee 2, oxygen value of trainee 3. So similarly 1, 2, 3 for the round 2. And the last 3 values will be of round 3 for the trainees 1, 2 and 3. So that is the input. So here this is these things are round 1 and these things are round 2 and these things are round 3. This is for candidate trainees 1, 2 and 3. So here this is a single line of input. So let us dive into the code. So here you can see the output value trainee 1 and 3. So when there are two outputs is when both the trainees 1 and 3 have equal average oxygen levels. Okay, so apparently so here we can see, isn't it, say 95, here the trainee 1 has values 95, 92 and 90, whereas the trainee 3 he has the values here 95. I'm sorry, this was the trainee 3, I'm sorry, the trainee 1 has values 95, 92 and 90. So here you can see both the trainee 1 and trainee 3 have equal input equal oxygen level. So trainee 2 to 9, trainee 1 95, 92, 90. Okay, so let's dive into the code. So here you can see this is the C++ solution, and here we'll initialize a 2D array, and we'll initialize an average array because we have to calculate the average of all the trainees. And now we have these auxiliary variables. So let's run a loop. So here you can see this is a nested for loop, and here we will receive the input. And if here we'll receive this input, that is this singular input we saw in the slides. Let me just go to that. Yeah, these are the input values that you can see. Let me just. Yeah, this is the input value. These are 9 values. You'll receive it. And the reason that we are going to a 2D arrays, our motive is to store the values as an array. Say if there are 9 values, you have to make some sense out of it, isn't it? So say one complete row should be for trainee 1, and the second row should be for trainee 2, and the third row should be for trainee 3. In that way we have to solve this problem. Okay, so each column represent round 1, round 2 and round 3. So let's get in all the values. Say here if the value is invalid, that is lesser than 1 or greater than 100, we'll initialize it to 0. Finally we have a matrix. So then we'll calculate the average over here, and this is what we are doing, calculating the average. And then we here in this snippet of code we are calculating the maximum value, and then we are outputting it. So if you are confused by the code, so what we will be doing is I just denoted in the code itself, in the slides itself. say let's take 95 here and 92 sequentially in 95, and we have taken these three values, and here 92, 90 and 92. Okay, we have taken these three values also, and then 90, 92 and 90. So yeah, we have taken the input and put it in a 2D matrix. Now here you can see the column, one column represents the oxygen levels of 3 rounds for the trainee 1. Let me just erase it. This is for trainee 1, and these are this column represents the average oxygen levels for trainee 2, and this column represents the average oxygen levels for trainee 3. So if we have to calculate the average, what we'll do is we'll just apply this logic. So here you can see the average calculating logic, j comma I. Here we have indexed it as ji because we are doing a column wise operation. Okay. So if we calculate the average, we found out that this average, and this average, trainee 1 average and trainee 3 average are the same, and they are the highest, and they are better than trainee 2. So guys, I think my image was hiding what I was writing, but yeah, here you can see. If you visualize this problem this way, that means this column is trainee 1, this column is trainee 2, this column is trainee 3. That will be very easy. And if you do these two coding problems correctly, and that's it, you will be successfully solving both the coding questions. So that is it. So guys, thank you guys. The response was very good in the chat section, and I appreciate you guys. And if you haven't joined our Telegram channel, that is this, please do consider joining our Telegram channel where you'll get regular updates with regards to TCS NQT exam and other stuff related to your placements. So this is the link. This link would be available in the chat section and also in the description box. So thank you guys. So here a few social handles are there. We are available on YouTube, as you already know. Consider sharing, like, subscribe, and place your valuable feedback in the comments. And we are on Facebook and Instagram. And here you can visit this website to view much more. We offer many courses, placement related and other industry relevant courses. So visit this website. And if you have any doubts or any queries or something, you can contact us using these three social handles. Okay, guys. Again, thank you for being such a wonderful audience, and we'll meet you next time.